Hello. There we go.
Alrighty. Alrighty, let's get started with today's workout. We're going to be doing core class. This is week 2. We're going to keep the same warm-up throughout the quarter, so if you've been here before, taken any of these classes online, you might know it. Let's begin with 30 seconds of marching in place. This is just a nice, sustainable pace, just starting to get all those muscle groups warmed up. The focus of today is going to be strength versus conditioning. We're still in the first half of the class, so we're going to be learning a lot. We're going to be learning a lot about different types of exercise, different muscle groups, things like that. We have about 10 seconds left on this marching before we go into high knees. Let's get ready to kick it up into high knees in 3, 2, and 1. Bringing it all the way up to our belly button here. Keep that pace while I let people into Zoom. Alrighty, halfway through. 15 seconds left on these high knees. Then we'll be switching over to butt kickers. And in 3, 2, and 1. Bringing those heels all the way up to tap that gluteus maximus. We're staying nice and light on the balls of our feet here, trying to make sure that our joints are feeling loose. And in 3, 2, and 1. Switching to 30 seconds of jumping jacks now. Still working on warming up that entire body, starting to incorporate upper body as well. And in 3, 2, and 1, meet me out in this star position. We're going to reach down, tap our hand to the opposite foot, starting to warm up the core specifically here. And in 3, 2, and 1, let's stand nice and tall here. Walk our hands out to a plank. Check yourself out in the mirror. Make sure you have a straight line from your shoulder all the way to your heel. Then walk those hands back up. We are doing this for the next 30 seconds. Meet me in a plank in 3, 2, and 1. We're now going to rock back onto our heels. Flick your bum up in the air for that down dog position and rock forward back into that plank. 30 seconds here. Meet me in that plank again in 3, 2, and 1. Last exercise in this set is coming down to cobra, pulling that chest away, and back up to down dog. Rotating between these two positions for the last 30 seconds of our warm-up. And that is for 3, 2, and 1. Shake it all out, come down to rest. Hopefully everyone is feeling nice and toasty. I know that the room helps with that. It's ridiculously hot in here because it's summer. So if at any point today you feel like you need a breather, it's a little bit too overheating, make sure you go outside, feel the AC. No shame whatsoever in it. It's not hard. It's not easy to do workouts like this in rooms like this. But regardless of that, we're going to focus today, as I said, on strength and conditioning. So what that means is we have a set of exercises focused on strength, meaning more slow and controlled movements of the body, and a set focused on conditioning, meaning that we're working on that cardiovascular piece as well. So we're trying to get our heart rate up. We're trying to make sure that we are pumping that side of things as well. We're going to be moving before either of those, however, into a full body core workout because we always want to start with exercises that work more major muscle groups. So we're going to be doing this to a tempo, meaning that I'm going to be playing 128 BPM music for those of you that are following along on Zoom if you'd like to play the same. And we're going to be doing exercises in sequence together. So the first one we're going to be doing, we'll come down onto the mat. This is going to be something that will help us progress to a push-up later in the quarter. For now, however, we're going to start in a child's pose, but tuck those feet and bring your knees off the floor. We're then going to rock forward into a plank and then rock back into that child's pose with your knees still off the floor. We'll be doing 15 of these all together in sequence with this music. So it makes sense as we go along, but just to demonstrate the type of beat we'll be going, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll be doing 15 of these all together. Let's get into position here. Everyone get ready. Turn it up. And in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1. That's 5. Here we go. 8, 8, back, forward. 5 left. 2 more. 14, 15. Alrighty, I know those quads hurt, I know those arms hurt. Full body core means working upper, lower, and relying on that core. The next one we're going to be doing here is up on our feet. We're going to begin with a plie squat, meaning that we have our feet wider than our hips, toes pointing slowly outwards. We're going to bring our hands behind our head and squat down, making sure to not let our knees go over the toes here. From there, we'll take a side bend towards each knee, making sure here to pull our belly button into spine, roll our shoulders back, and try to keep your torso vertical. So what that means is really trying not to lean over too far forward. Let's begin this one in that same count of 4 as we were last time. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here's 5. Shake out those legs. Alrighty, next one here is going to be back down on the mat. We're going to be a bear to a fire hydrant. So what this means is that similar to how with that activated child's pose we're hovering our knees, we're going to be doing the same thing but in a tabletop position. So what that means is normally you'd have your knees down on the ground. We're just going to tuck those feet and activate that lower body. From here we're going to do a fire hydrant, meaning that you bring your leg up so it is as close to parallel with the ground as it can be. If this one's feeling a little bit too challenging for you, feel free to come down into a regular fire hydrant where we have our knees on the ground here. Regardless, please remember to pull that belly button into your spine. We're supposed to be engaging our core intentionally throughout these exercises. Let's come together. We're going to do 15 of these all together, which means 1 on each side. So this is 1 rep, and then that's 2. So we work each side equally. To demonstrate the pace of this one before we get started, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to be coming up and down on each beat. All right, let's switch over to the next song so we have a new beat to start. In 4, 3, 2, and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2. That's 10. Left here, that's 20. Last one, here we go. And shake it all out. Rotate those shoulders back a couple times. I know these plank ones can be a little challenging on those joints. Next one we're going to be doing is back on our feet. These will be lunge twists. So what these are going to be doing is activating those lower body muscles of the glutes, quads, and hamstrings, as well as those obliques for those rotational twisting movements. So we're going to begin first with a lunge down, twist away from the leg that's in front of your body, and come back up. If you want this one to be a little bit more challenging, you can come together, bounce in the middle, and switch to the other side. If you'd like to make it a little less challenging, you can simply twist, step, and then twist out the other way. So it's whether you're adding that bounce or whether you're doing that step. Alrighty, we are going to be doing 30 of these ones. Same thing where each side is 1 rep. Let's get ready to do that one together to the beat, and just to demonstrate how we'll be doing to the beat. It's going to be 1 twist, up, and then in the middle, or 1 twist, step, and wave. So each side is for 1 count of 4. Let's get ready to go into this one. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1. Last one. All right, take it all out. That was our full body set. I'm only going through that one time because I know it is a rough one. Everyone grab a drink of water. We're going to take a 1-minute break before we jump into that strength set. Do whatever you need to do. Grab a towel, chill out. we have about 30 seconds left on this break, so let's start talking about the next set. As I said, this one's going to be a strength set, so unlike the last one where a lot of the exercises were bouncing or jumping or higher energy, higher heart rate, these ones are going to be focused more on muscular strength, making slow and controlled movements. So to begin with, we're going to come down onto the mat. We're going to start with the exercise of dead bugs. Funny name and funny looking exercise. Let's put our arms and legs straight up into the air, and then we're just going to bring one arm and leg down at the same time. The important thing here is making sure that your back is pressed flat into the mat. Again, I want you to think about pulling that belly button into your spine the entire time we're doing this exercise for that maximum engagement. Unlike the last set where this was tempo, for this set we're going to be doing a time set, meaning that I'll give you 45 seconds to do as many of these as you want to do in the time that works for you. And then we'll have 15 seconds of rest, just a short rest before we jump into the next exercise. So that's going to be the overall structure. We have 5 exercises in this set. If anyone has any questions, now would be the time. Everyone feeling okay? All right, then great. Let's get ready to jump into this next set. 45 seconds of work. In 3, 2, 1, here we go. Halfway through here. Slow and controlled motions. Nice. In 3, 2, and 1. 15-second break here. Next one in this set is going to be bridges. Let's plant those feet on the ground, about hip width apart. As we lift our hips, I want you to squeeze your glutes, squeeze the muscles of the posterior abdominals that run along your back, then lower those hips back down. 45 seconds here, beginning in 3, 2, and 1. We are halfway through. To make this one more challenging, try lifting one leg and then the other as you come up. Straightening that leg if you'd like a little extra challenge. For 3, 2, and 1. Next one here is one of the harder ones, but I know that you all can get through it. We're doing V-ups. So for these, everything is flat on the mat, and then you bring your upper body and lower body up to a V, bringing your legs either parallel to the ground or straightened if you want a little extra challenge. So we're going to be laying down on the mat again and just coming up as easily as we can, pulling in with those abdominals. Let's begin this one in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Slow and controlled motions here, strength exercises, trying to do as many as we can while still maintaining that good form. Halfway through here. That is for 3, 2, and 1. Let's take that break. Next one in this set is going to be Russian twists. Again, these are intended to work those obliques that help you with rotational twisting movements. So for this one, I like to make a little fist and put the other hand over it. We're going to turn our entire upper body, rotating on your rib cage to one side and then to the other. If about halfway through you'd like a little more challenge, you can try levitating your feet off the ground, keeping that lower body completely still while you move side to side. Let's get ready to jump into this one, beginning in 3, 2, and 1. Seconds left. 3, 2, and 1. Take it down to rest. Last exercise in this set is going to be Superman. So we're going to come down onto the mat here. I'm going to turn this way. We're going to come down onto the mat on our stomach here. Reach our arms and legs ahead of and behind us and stretch out towards the back in front of the room, keeping the head looking down at the mat. And we come back down. This is working the posterior abdominals, specifically the psoas major and minor that run along your spine. Let's get ready to move into 45 seconds of this one, beginning in 3, 2, and 1. Stretching forward and release. Halfway through here. That's for 3, 2, and 1. We're going to double our break time here, take a 30-second break. Now will be the time to grab water, do whatever it is you need to do before we jump back into this strength set a second time. Now that you're a little bit more familiar with the exercises, I would challenge you to really think about that form, really think about how we can be doing these motions with slow and controlled movements, as we'll kind of have that metric of comparison when we move into our conditioning set next. Everything will be a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more cardiovascular. So we're going to begin again with those dead bugs in about 15 seconds. Let's get ready by flipping back over onto our back. And bringing those legs and arms back up into the air. Same time interval. We're going for 45 seconds, beginning in 3, 2, and 1. and 1. Last one in this set is going to be those Supermans. Let's flip over onto our stomach, thinking here about lengthening towards the front and back of the room rather than lifting up, because the stretching of those muscles is really what allows them to engage in this form. Here we go, 45 seconds. You get a nice long break. How many more can you do? And that's for 3, 2, and 1. Bring it on down. We are going to take a 1-minute break before we move into the conditioning set. At this point, we're a bit over halfway through class, so I like to ask people how they're feeling on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, oh my gosh, Lexi, I came here for a workout class and I'm not even breaking a sweat. 10 being, I'm so exhausted, I really need some ways to kind of take it back a notch so I can make sure that I last the last 15 or so minutes of class. So you can just sort of show me that on your hands so I can get a sense of how everyone in the room is feeling. That would be super helpful on that 1 to 10 scale. Okay, perfect. And then if people in Zoom, if you want to private message me with it or just put it in the chat, help me write better class plans, help me make sure that we are not going too hard in what I know is a very toasty environment. Next set, as I said, is going to be that conditioning set. So these are focused still on form, of course, but on going a little bit more quickly, on keeping our heart rate up, on working those cardio movements. The first one in this set is going to be jackknives. So for these ones, we're going to be doing something similar to a V-up, except it's a little bit assisted. So we'll place our hands on the mat, pointing towards our bum, straighten that body out until we're back down on our elbows, then bring those knees in and elbows off the floor. You can see how we can do this movement a little bit more quickly, making it a little bit easier to keep the heart rate up. All of these exercises are going to be on an interval of 30 seconds of work to 15 seconds of rest. So we have a shorter work time, but a same amount of rest time. So overall, you'll be getting more rest for the amount of work that you're doing. It means we're going to go a little bit faster, so we're probably going to do this set 3 times as we go through. Same sort of structure, 5 exercises, and I'll explain them as we go. But unless anyone has any questions, let's get ready to jump into that first 30 seconds of jackknives, beginning in 3, 2, and 1. Halfway through. That's for 3, 2, and 1. The next one in this set is mountain climbers. We're going to come into that good plank position up on our wrist. Gently bring each knee into chest. Go more slowly to make it easier. Go a little quicker to make it harder. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. That's for 3, 2, and 1. Bring it on down, flip over onto your back. Next one here is going to be flutter kicks. So for these ones, we'll pull our back flat on that mat again, lift those legs up to about a 45-degree angle, and just be kicking our legs in the air. Please don't put your hands under your bum for this one because it means that we shift the work from our abdominals to our hip flexors. So what we're going to be doing instead, if it's too challenging, is lifting your legs higher to the ceiling to add a little bit less weight. Let's get ready to jump into this one in 3, 2, and 1. For 3, 2, and 1. Shorter interval here so we can afford to do those higher cardiovascular exercises. Next one is back in that plank form, either on your hands or down on your forearms. Either way, we're going to be doing a plank jack, bringing those feet out and bringing those feet back in. So to demonstrate from here, we have feet out and feet in. Let's begin our 30 seconds of this one, beginning in 3, 2, and 1. Halfway through, keeping that good plank form, straight line from shoulder all the way to heel. That's for 3, 2, and 1. I know those cardio ones can kill, especially after that strength set. Let's move into our last exercise of this set, which is penguins. So for these, we're going to be in the same position as we were in for bridge when we're down on the mat. We're going to bring those feet nice and close together and then lift those shoulders off the mat and reach for each heel, keeping those shoulders off the mat the entire time. Let's get ready to move into this 30 seconds. Make sure those feet are nice and close together here. Beginning in 3, 2, and 1. Halfway through, let's be staring straight up at the ceiling. Elongate that neck through the spine. For 3, 2, and 1. All right, that was our first round of our conditioning workout. We're going to lengthen that break to 30 seconds in between sets. So you have about 25 more seconds before we move back into those jackknives. Make sure to grab some water, do whatever it is you need to do. Ask any questions that you might have about these different exercises. I love to talk about them overall. We're going to be beginning once again with those jackknives. So for these ones, remembering that rotating your hips backwards, pulling that belly button in, this is one of those ones where you kind of have to engage it more intentionally. Otherwise, you may not be feeling it as much as you would expect. Let's get ready to move back into those jackknives. So placing our feet on the ground here, placing our fingers pointing towards our bum, and in 3, 2, and 1. 30 seconds on the clock. And that is for 3, 2, and 1. Shaking it all out for this 15-second break. Getting ready to move over into those mountain climbers. If they're hurting your wrist this way, you also have the option to go on your fists for these planks. Regardless of how you're planking, we're going to begin in 3, 2, and 1. Halfway through here, make sure to pick a pace that you can sustain, bringing each leg into the chest. For 3, 2, and 1. Bringing it down for that 15 seconds. Next one here is going to be Flutter Kicks. If you'd like to make them more challenging, you can try and bring your legs further down. However, don't bring them so far down that your back begins to arch off the mat. We want it flat on that mat the entire time. Let's bring those legs up to that 45-degree angle. And in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. 7. Getting ready to move into those plank jacks. If your wrists are hurting, these ones can be done on your forearms. Just as a heads up, because I know that we don't want to burn out those joints. Let's bring it into that plank position. Bring those knees up, and in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Halfway through. And that's our time. Last one in this set is going to be those penguins. So let's bring it back down, remembering first to bring your feet together, and that to make it easier, you can move your feet closer to your bum. To make it harder, you can move them further away, so you have to reach a little further. Let's begin here in 3, 2, and 1. For 3, 2, and 1. All right, that was the end of our conditioning set. We're going to take a 1-minute break here. Grab that water, do whatever it is you need to do before we move into our final set of the day. It's going to be a plank burnout. So what this is going to be is learning 4 different types of planks, because like I said, we're still in that exploration phase. We're still trying to learn about the broad range of exercises. If you're interested where these planks, this type of exercise falls in the realm of strength and conditioning, which are the themes we've been talking about today, this fits into the strength category under this idea of an isometric movement. So an isometric movement is one where we're staying still. We're not flexing a muscle like you would as with movement, like lengthening and shortening it. Instead, we're clenching it while we're just staying in the same place. So, for example, just a plank or just holding something. The type of movement we're going to be doing, returning back to that strength in the end of today. We have about 15 seconds left on this break, so let's get ready to move into our first plank. We're doing 30 seconds of each type of plank, so 30 seconds in a regular plank here, 30 seconds of a side plank on one side, 30 seconds of a side plank on the other side, and then 30 seconds of a reverse plank, where you place your hands like we did for jackknife, and then lift those hips just off our heels rather than off our feet this time, sort of similar to that bridge. So we're going to be doing these all back to back. I'll be doing them right along with you and demonstrating. We're not going to have rest in between, as this is our final burnout for the day before we move into cool down. So does anybody have any questions before we jump into this last 2 minutes of work? Alrighty, then without further ado, let's get ready for that first 30 seconds of forward planking, just a normal plank here, beginning in 3, 2, and 1. 30 seconds. Halfway through. Pull that belly button in. And in 3, 2, and 1, switch to that side plank, lifting those hips, centering that shoulder over your elbow. Here for 30 seconds. Halfway through, 15 seconds here. And in 3, 2, and 1, switch over to the other side here. Side plank, but on our second side. forward for our reverse plank. Pulling that belly button into spine, squeezing our glutes this entire time. 10 seconds left. And that's for 3, 2, and 1. Let's move into that cool down portion. Everybody shake out those arms. Let's begin, because I know planks can be difficult on those joints. Let's begin with some straight rolling of those wrists. Sort of bending out those elbows as well. And moving into that full arm swing towards the front of the room. Just as important to take care of your joints as it is your muscles and bones. And let's switch directions here. Arms in the other way. Bringing one arm across the body, gently pulling it back with the other arm to stretch those deltoid muscles that surround the shoulder, as well as the tricep on the back of the arm here. And let those arms swing wide. Let's bring it over to the other side. And bringing it forward into tabletop here. We're just going to plant the knees and the hands. Bring that chin up towards the ceiling. Arch that lower back in towards the floor. We're going to take the complementary position. Bring that chin into your chest. Arch your lower back up towards the ceiling. Switching between these two positions at your own pace. Whatever feels good for you. You can switch your weight back and forth between your hips and your knees if that's what you need. And bringing it back into child's pose for a moment here. Let's rock forward into a cobra, stretching that rectus abdominis, what people sort of think of as those classic six-pack muscles. We work those in particular today with dead bugs, V-ups, as well as a variety of other exercises. Let's rock back into that child's pose one more time. Stretch out that lower back. And bring it back up to tabletop. Bring it on up to your feet. Pat yourself on the back. You just did Core Blast week 2. If you didn't catch it at the beginning, my name is Lexi. I also teach HIIT on Mondays if anyone's interested in that. I absolutely love teaching. I absolutely love core. If you have any questions, please feel free to come up and talk to me about them afterwards. But regardless, if you could grab a spray bottle and a towel and just wipe down your mat before putting it back, that would be fantastic. Thank you for coming today. Thank you. And thank you, Zoom peeps. Please let me know if you have any questions. As usual, last week, Karen asked about the different muscles of the posterior abdominal. I'm going to wait to answer that question until she's back in the room, just because I know she'd love to hear the answer. But if you come along for future weeks, we can absolutely talk about that.